Hello, my dear students. How are you all? I hope that you are all getting well and you are maintaining the health rules and studying at home. I, Ruxana Parveen, again came here to take the online class from Chapter 8, Coordination and Control. Today's topics are Mechanism of Hearing and Mechanism of Balancing. The learning objectives are we will get to know how to describe the hearing mechanism with the help of our ears, and we will learn that how our body gets balance in response to the gravity and rotation. So let's start with the hearing mechanism. Normally, we already know the structure, that is the pinna, followed by the auditory canals or meatus and eardrum or tympanum, three ossicles or ear bones, malleus, incus, stapes, and the cochlea, finally the nerves. Yes, so let's focus on the zoom in view of the bones. You see the hammer shaped malleus, incus and stapes. The stapes is connected to the fenestra ovalis at the base of the cochlea. The cochlea is the twisted structure which can be straightened next, and this is the tympanum. We all know about this, right? Sound waves comes to the auditory canals or auditory meatus, and a spatial vibration is created on the basis of the sound frequency, which is transmitted through those three bones finally towards the cochlea. At first, the sound frequency enters the auditory canals. You see the arrows, right? And the sound vibration produced by the eardrum is perceived by firstly malleus, secondly incus, and thirdly stapes. Through the fenestra ovalis or oval window, the sound frequency is passed through the liquids which are inside the cochlea. Okay, and at the base of the cochlea you see the eustachian tube. You already know the structure, and this is the yellow shaped structure or yellow colored structure. Showing here is the auditory vestibular nerves. Here is the drawing. If the question comes that explain the hearing mechanism with the help of the ear, we may draw this very precise and easy diagram at the exam hall, and you can describe as well. Okay, at first I have drawn the pinna here, which is connected to the auditory canal. This is the eardrum, and sound vibration is passed by or the transmitted through the malleus, incus and stapes. Fenestra ovalis or the window can actually allow the sound vibration or waves through the liquids. You see the cochlea, the twisted structure is straightened up here to ease the understanding level of the hearing mechanism. There are three chambers, you already know, right? There are three chambers. There is the section of these three chambers here. The blue colored chamber here showing the scala vestibuli means this one, right? And the middle one is the scala media, means this layer, and the last scala tympani means that this layer or the chamber, right? The first chamber and the second chamber, that means scala vestibuli and scala media, is separated by the resinous membrane, and the scala media and the scala tympani are separated by the basilar membrane. See, on the basilar membrane you see some swell structures here, the precise view. These are the hearing units, right? means this one called the organ of Corti. We already learned the detailed structure of the organ of Corti at the previous video. Okay, and the scala vestibuli means first layer is filled with perilymph and the middle layer is filled with endolymph and the scala tympani is filled with perilymph. That means the outer two chambers are filled with perilymph and the middlemost layer is filled with the endolymph fluid, right? When the sound vibration comes to this layer and it compresses the resonance membrane towards the lower surface of the resonance membrane, which allows the part of the organ of Corti to be sensitive or to transmit the signal, right? And after perceiving all the signals by these units called by the organs of Corti, some nerve fibers are connected from here to there. Okay, I'll show you the next slide. And the brain decides what to actually understand according to the sound frequency. Okay, and the external or the extra pressure, the sound frequency is absorbed by the liquids to the eustachian tubule. Let's go next. The sound perception by the organ of Corti with the help of this organ of Corti. At first, the pressure is created over the tectorial membrane, which is connected to the front line portion of the cilia of the sensory hairy cells inside the organ of Corti, and it creates a special kind of signals which as a result changes the charging or charged condition of the neurotransmitters such as the calcium ions, sodium ions, etc. You can find it from the the neurotransmission portion of the same chapter at the nervous system details. Okay, let's go next. Yeah, the scala vestibuli, that means the first chamber, and this is the resonance membrane. You focus here, and the scala media, when the fluid is the fluid compresses the outer surface of the organ of Corti. This is called the tectorial membrane, and these are the hairy structure of the sensory hairy cells over there. At the base, they are connected to the nerve, right? And the information is passed to the nerves, finally to the auditory nerves, and which reaches the brain, and brain decides centrally on the basis of the experience of the language or any other communication methods or training. The brain can understand. Suppose the brain is listening or converting the sound to your understanding level. Suppose you are the English, you can understand only English. If you know the other language, you can, but if you don't have any experience, the brain cannot interpret as well. This is normal, right? Well, the sound interpretation, this is the detailed mechanism for your ease of understanding. This is the tectorial membrane. Many students asked me that they don't understand the tectorial membrane and the unit, and this whole part is the white, and you see this whole part is called the organ of Corti. This is the unit of hearing and the most important part of hearing, of course, which is situated inside the cochlea. Okay, the tectorial membrane is present over there. If any kind of compression occurs over there, it can press the sensory hairs or cilia and this is the sensory hairy cell. At the base they are connected to the nerve. Okay, and this is the first position, this is the second position at any angle on the basis of the intensity of sound waves. Okay, right. Yes, now we came to the next very important mechanism called the balancing mechanism. Do we know that how could we walk, how could we dance, how could we move our body to the perfect angle, and we understand that what is happening to our body when we say sleep, or we will just lean backward or forward. We understand that at which degree or at which angle we are moving through, right? This is done by the small parts of the internal ear called the balancing units, or the semicircular canals, uticle and sacculus, right? And this whole portion for review, I want to repeat that this is the cochlea. This is involved in the hearing, and this portion is involved in only balancing. The semicircular canals are related to the rotational equilibrium, and the uticle and sacculus are involved in perceiving the gravity, or at the weight, or it works on the pivot or lever systems. Okay, and at the base of the semicircular canals, the swell portions are called ampulla, and inside the ampulla we know the special features are found, known as the copula. See here, the copula is the quite pear-shaped structure or swelled structure which is embedded in the jelly-like liquid called the endolymph, right? And copula, inside the copula there is the endolymph, of course, but in different gravity or more thick liquid here. And at the base of the copula, this is the basement membrane formed of the cuboidal epithelial tissue, which supports some sensory hairy cells with the help of supporting cells and nutritive cells. At the base, sensory nerve cells. Well, how balancing occurs? When your head tilts a bit, the ampulla, which is filled with endolymph, pressurizes on the copula. When the copula bends towards left, the sensory hairy cells try to bend the right. That means it works on the anti-clockwise direction. Okay, so let's go details. Here is the section of the vestibular nerve of central nervous system. On the this is the nerve called the nervous system, central nervous system 8, or the auditory nerve, and this is the direction of the rotation, and this is the utriculus, and at the base you see the ampulla. This is the ampulla. Of course, you already have seen the structure, and these are the supporting cells for your detailed view. Okay, all lined up the same way, there is no ups and downs. And at the base of the all sensory hairy cells, nerve fibers are actually picking the base of the sensory hairs to transmit the signals towards the brain. Okay, and the semicircular canals are help to angular acceleration, or the degree of angles our body can move, or when the head moves to left or right, we can understand with the help of this organ, or it works on the inertia, of course. How copula helps in balancing? This helps in balancing by the rotational equilibrium. You see, when the flow of the fluid is that direction at the right way and the cells are bending, hairy cells are bending, which is pushing at the base to move backward. And these signals, all these signals are sent to the brain that at which direction the fluid is moving, at which direction the sensory hairy cells are responding, right? That's how our brain can understand the angles. Here's the detailed structure of the utricle and saccule in balancing. What is utricle and saccule? On the floor of the utricle, there are some structures which are called the autoconium, and on the wall of the saccule there are some structures which are vertically found, or up and down acceleration is done, and this is the horizontal acceleration which is done by the utricle. Focus on the diagram. At the diagram A, when head is upright, this is the position, or this is the position, or this is called the tonic resting activity. When the B position, head flexion occurs, the endolymph is pressing at this angle, which is creating the force of gravity, and the sensory hairs are tilting at the right side, and the decreased pressure occurs over there, and then the forehead extension occurs. The pressure over there is increased, right? And at the D we see the linear acceleration to the left when the central pressure is decreased, but sensory hair is moving at just the opposite of the flow or the force of the gravity. That means the movement of the force or pressure onto the fluid is just opposite to the direction of the sensory hairs. You see how the rotation and the balancing of the body of the rotation occurs with the help of the autoconium. This is the basic structure of autoconium, which is the crystal structure, and autoconium covers up the otolithic membrane, which is the thick gelatinous substances, and some cilia are found at the tip of the sensory hairy cells called the stereocilia, and these are the hairy cells which are upright condition when the person is actually presenting in the upright position. This happens out there like this, but when the person bends forward, the displaced section of the utricular macula results in the signal formation that we are bending, or the man is bending on that fixed direction. That means this is helping to perceive the gravity or the weight and where the spatial favor system occurs or happens. Internal view of the utricle focuses on the detailed structure of the sensory hairy cells which are embedded on the supporting cells of the utriculus. Okay, see here the pink colored structures are the hair bundles, or this is the thick otolithic membrane, and this is the otoliths, small portions of the crystals, and these are the stereocilia, right? So you can easily understand the position by seeing the 3D structure, okay, and where they are coming from the utriculus, or this at the base of the utriculus you see the macula, which consists of this kind of structures called autogonium. And this is the basic structure at the straight portion, how sensory cells are holding the hairs, and how at the base of the sensory cells nerves are connected. Just showing this kind of structures here. Okay. How the sensitivity on the rotation anti-clockwise occurs, right? In case of rotational equilibrium, you see this is the upright position or resting position. The copula resides in its own position, and the semicircular tubes are here filled with the fluid or endolymph. It's perfectly okay. But the second diagram you see, when the head tilts or head rotation occurs towards the right, the endolymph fluid moves towards the left. It works in the anti-clockwise directions. You see, I mentioned. And this is the position of the, macula. And this is the structure just opposite to the head rotation towards the left, and the endolymph is moving just opposite. This is the inhibition portion. So at the 3 steps we can explain the sensitivity on rotation anti-clockwise with the help of the copula. First of all, copula response, then excitation, and the third is inhibition. That's how when we tilt our head, the vestibule, the utricle, and the saccule work on the force of gravity, right? Right. We discussed a lot. Okay, so you should prepare at your home well, and you may pause the videos, and you should take the help from your textbook, online supports, YouTube videos, Wikipedia, or many things more to know the details. Okay, so homeworks will be, of course, draw and level the diagram of this showing hearing mechanisms at the lecture, and the draw and level diagram of the balancing mechanism mentioned in the lecture. Thank you very much. Stay